Hi, my name is Danny, and so I'm making this video. Actually, I'm making a series of videos about the most unforgettable books that I've read from 2014. So this book is called Leche by Zamora Linmark, who is a Filipino-American author. So Leche is actually a Spanish word that means milk, but us Filipinos, we kind of use it as a swear word when we're frustrated, usually. So the book follows a main character named Vince de los Reyes. He wins a pageant, which is like a Mr. Filipino Hawaiian pageant kind of thing, and what he wins is a 10-day vacation to the Philippines where he has some media appearances as well as just general vacation time. And it's really interesting because Vince hasn't been back to the Philippines since he left 13 years ago with his family to just escape the Marcos regime. Just a little bit of history about the Philippines. In the 1970s, the country was subjected to a dictatorship by one of the presidents, and basically the people have no voice. It was no longer a democracy. A lot of people thought it would be more peaceful if they would migrate out of the country, and that includes Vince's family. He comes back to the Philippines, and that is after Marcos has been overthrown. So as I said, Vince comes back to the Philippines and he sees that everything's different. There's a lot of people in the streets, they're not following traffic rules. There's a lot of honking vehicles, and it's really hot, and he can't function without air conditioning. Basically, he just gets super culture shock because he's not used to the Philippines anymore. And not just because he's been away for 13 years, but also because it is after an entirely different period in the Philippine history, so a lot will have changed regardless. What I liked most about Leche is basically how it reminded me of things that I liked, things that I still like and I miss. I haven't been back to the Philippines in a while, so I just really appreciate that I get to read about my country and my people. The writing isn't very descriptive, so what I was really working on are my own memories of the place. What I liked about the book itself is that there are postcards, there are pages where instead of actual words, it would be like a scan of a postcard, and on the back of it are Vince's letters to his family and friends back in Hawaii, kind of just to check in. Another thing that really struck me while I was reading this book is that how the main character he got really confused about his identity, about his being a Filipino when he actually got back to the Philippines, because people treat him differently. People don't really treat him as if he's a Filipino. He holds a US passport. When he went to a tour in Intramuros, so Intramuros is this really historical place. There was a tour there and he went on it, and the tour guide was kind of expressing his laments towards some really sad Filipino experience that he had. It escapes me at the moment, but the tour guide referred to himself as us Filipinos and to Vince as you foreigners. So Vince was like so confused because he's not a foreigner, he is a Filipino. He looks like a Filipino, albeit a bit paler than average. And the only reason that he's actually in the Philippines is because he won a Mr. Filipino pageant. So how Filipino could you be? When he was in Hawaii, that's primarily what he was first. You know, before he was an American, he's a Filipino first, and that's how people refer to him. Even his friends who are Filipino as well, they call themselves Filipino first before they call themselves American, even if they are American citizens. It was a journey about coming home, and home for this novel is both Hawaii and the Philippines. It's not like one of those things that are like, home is where the heart is and blah blah blah, but here it's like home is a place where he was born, or home is a place where he grew up, or home is a place where he built a life. It's a really interesting read, and as a Filipino Canadian, it's something that I am very fond of. So the pageant itself, where Vince won, is not actually part of the book. It's just been alluded to a lot of times. Like the pageant was published as a short story apart from the book, and our Zamora Linmark is actually a contributor here. It's called Charlie Chan is Dead Too. It's an anthology of short stories written by Asian American authors. The pageant, it's called Mr. Pogi, which Pogi, the Tagalog word for handsome. Vince, for his talent portion, he did a dramatic reading of Make America Better by Langston Hughes, and I thought that was really interesting, considering his confusion about his national identity that he was working through in the book Leche. I'm wearing a toque inside because I'm cold, because I'm in Canada. Yes.